You are now listening to the sounds of Milkcrates Microphones.
All right, joining us now from Oakland, California, originally, which I just learned from doing research with for this interview that he's from Jackson, Mississippi, but hailing from Oakland, Hieroglyphics, one of the legends and someone that we look up to and been excited to have him on the podcast. Everyone give it up for Pep Love.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you for joining us on a Friday.
No doubt. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just over at the crib.
Hell yeah,
Nice.
chilling. So, yeah, opening it up, I didn't know you were from Mississippi originally. How was that coming to the Bay Area as a youngster? Must have been a huge culture shock, especially since Jackson, Mississippi is way different.
During that time, for sure, it was a. I like to say it was a quantum leap because, we don't have in Mississippi. There's really no need for like public buses and trains and all of that kind of stuff, and a lot of areas don't even have sidewalks. So yeah, it was a huge difference.
Oh yeah, that has to be crazy. I mean, coming to somewhere where it's already like you're going from that to like a full on like fast-paced city.
Yeah, full urban from being in a, just a. I mean, I lived in Jackson, so that's not like a rural area. It's still like the capital city of Mississippi.
Yeah, it's a big city.
But it's just like, it's just way less urban, things that go on. So if you live in a certain area, you kind of just stay in that area. Like have access to the whole city, like how it is when you live in a big city.
How old were you when you guys made the leap over there?
I was 12. I was about to turn 13, but I was
Still young, still super young.
What kind of music?
Yep.
What kind of music were you listening to at 12 or younger than that, growing up in Mississippi before coming out to the West Coast?
I mean, I was already super into rap. It's just we didn't have stores and places where you could go of hip hop that was out, and the radio didn't play. We didn't have like college radio stations and all the different variety of outlets that play music like there are in California.
When you got over here, who was the first person that you saw? Was the first person that you saw rapping in person here or in Mississippi?
In Mississippi,
okay,
for sure.
Was that someone that?
It was a dude in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
That's cool.
what was that experience like? Like, what was your first thoughts about that? Like when you seen that and seen like, oh, this is something that I can do. That it's an achievable thing.
I'm trying to even think. Like, it wasn't even when I moved to, back then. It was the late '80s, early '90s. It wasn't even a lot of people, even in the Bay, that were like rapping. People listened to rap, but like, I didn't meet anybody that actually was trying to do it themselves till like, I don't know, like junior year in high school. It was still like it wasn't like how it is now, where everybody raps.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that.
Hey, when you shot out from Louisiana, were you breaking?
Mississippi.
Oh, sorry,
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Were they break dancing down there too at that time in the '80s? Was that like a thing too, or that was only a West Coast thing, or did you even see that at that time?
Nobody really could really break, but I had so my uncle, during like the summer, he would come down with his stepson, who was my uncle, who was living in he was living in Milwaukee. And there were people who kind of would do the backspin, and we had little assemblies. People were like kind of like watching what they saw on television, like breaking in Beat Street, and they would try to do their own little version of it, but it was nobody really had like any person that they knew that could show them moves, and they were not like I said, they weren't sidewalks, so people trying to break dance in your front yard and on the grass,
Yeah.
So there was no linoleum, and nobody with on the corner with a collection can or hat trying to get people into it. So yeah, it wasn't till my uncle came down during the summer one time, and he came down with his with his stepson, who was actually knew how to break. He knew how to do a bunch of stuff that people, just because he had more exposure to things. He knew how to do tricks on the he knew how to do freestyle tricks on the bike. He fully knew how to do the flare and all the stuff that we saw people do in movies, but I never knew anybody who actually could do it. Yeah. And my uncle's stepson actually knew how to do it. So he was the first person that I actually saw that could really do the real advanced moves in breaking.
Yeah,
and that was in Mississippi.
That's huge. That's huge.
And when you see someone do that for the first time, it's like they're doing magic for the first time. You're like,
it really was like that. It was mesmerizing. And I was already super into hip hop, and it was sparse. The times where we could even listen to hip hop. You know, they played like Roxanne once on the urban radio, which was mainly like soul, and you know, they was playing like Rick James and stuff like that. Yeah. And I think they played like Roxanne once or twice, and I would just be fiending, listening to the radio, hoping that they would play it again. They never did. And I think they played like, what was it? Planet Rock. I think Planet Rock was the first one that I actually heard. So dope. Yeah. And I guess now that I look back, it was just like the radio this was a new sound, and they were experimenting with like, well, we hear here, this is something that people around the nation are listening to, and they gave it one spin.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to call for something like that after you hear it. Like, we need it, you know what I mean? So otherwise, they're like, I'm not sure if it hit right or not, so they might not play it again.
It's just people in the South weren't trying to hear that. So, you know, they gave it a little bit of a experimental spin, and then after that, they were like, nope. Yeah. Nope, not here.
Well, there's so much rich history in the South with their music and their culture.
Yeah.
And so they're, you know, so tied to that, you know.
But it's also very conservative and very religious.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, I can see that for sure.
Very Christian. So
the Bible Belt.
Some of the things that rappers might say might just offend, you know, the Southern Christian sensibility.
Of course.
Definitely. I could definitely see that.
So
especially back then.
Oh, yeah.
Was it not until your junior year that you picked up the mic and started rapping, or how old were you when you started rapping and kind of messing around with it, at least?
Well, no, I started rapping myself like in the 9th grade.
Oh, okay. So out in Mississippi, you were rapping, or at least.
No, I wasn't rapping in Mississippi.
Okay, so why did you got to the West Coast? Okay, so getting to the West Coast.
He hung up the breaking shoes, man. He hung the breaking shoes up, and then he put the bike away, and he said, "It's time now. I'm about to get serious. I'm about to hit the mic now. Come on, stick with us here."
Yeah, you know, I just realized that is something that I could do, because, you know, now I live in a place to where we can catch the bus and go up to. I was living basically like in Berkeley. In Berkeley, California, which is, you know, UC Berkeley. Right next to UC Berkeley's campus is Telegraph Avenue, and there's just a bunch of shops and vendors. Yeah. You know, there was Leopold Records back then, Tower Records.
So much stuff.
Rasputin is still up there, and Amoeba Records was not even there yet. So, you know, we could go to Leopold Records and go look in the rap section and just see all these different records and, you know, stuff. It was so much that we didn't, you know, stuff I had never heard before. So I could like look at a record cover and be like, this looks cool. Let me see what this sounds like, you know?
Yeah.
And that just seeing a bunch of rap and a lot of it that I had never heard, and just seeing wants to do it, you know, other than the recording in the studio part, but like if I put my mind to it, and I can write a rap too, you know?
Were you initially, when you started writing and recording, were you already on that mindset of consciousness and like kind of on that path, like the same where you're at now with your writing style, or was it something that evolved into that?
Well, I kind of I grew up with that. My dad was a civil rights activist, and my mom's a scholar, and they're very, intellectual, and my dad is a very passionate, spiritual type person, and just some of the things and people that I was exposed to as a young person were of that mindset. I've told people before in interviews that, like, as like as early as 8 or 9 years old, we would go to, me and my brother would go to like summer camps that were involved with, my dad's friends who were in the civil rights movement. And there was a lot of very creative people that helped to put the summer camps together, and that were friends. They were all part of the same circle, who had, similar background, whether it be the Nation of Islam or the civil rights movement, or just very creative poets. There was a woman by the name of Billie Jean Young, who was my mom's friend, who is an actress and a playwright. And at the summer camp that we went to in Epps, Alabama, they had a lot of those kind of people came together and helped to bring all the kids of the people that were friends together too, and other people. It was a very like Black consciousness type thing. So we got exposed to that. Even today, I think she's still alive. One of the guest counselors at the summer camp was Sonia Sanchez, who was a very well-known and a very prolific poet and writer. She was there one of the years. Wow. And so, when I got to California, of course, I just was into rap and hip hop. And one of the earliest songs everybody knows that had an impact nationwide was The Message, which is a conscious song, which is interesting. I saw him do it. I saw Melly Mel do an interview with Vlad, and he was like, I didn't want to do that song because he's like, rap to me was an escape from the ghetto and from the projects and shit. So he was like, I didn't really want to talk about real stuff that goes on. I wanted to be like a imaginary world. That's why they wore the costumes and all of that. And he, even to this day, he was like, I feel like even though that song was, a window or a view that was supposed to kind of wake up people's minds about, what was going on in the hood and what was going on in the Bronx of New York at the time. He was like, I still feel like that opened the door for gangster rap.
That song is so good though. Great fucking.
He has a point with that. I'm sorry, say that again?
I said that song is amazing, though, because it's a great song. I mean, you see him walking down the street in the video, the broken glass everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, and I know exactly, he was actually speaking to the people. He didn't want to glamorize what wasn't already there, He wants to tell you the truth. He's not bullshitting nobody. And to that day, this song still holds so much weight.
Doing that, he wrote the lyrics, but doing that at the time. And when I left Mississippi, crack hadn't even reached the streets of Jackson, Mississippi yet. It wasn't even there. I'd never kind of seen some of the messed up stuff that was going on in the hood and in the Bay, and in California, period. It's just more of a straight up raw, gritty, and almost a glamorizing of some of the streets. And we were young, so it was like me and all my friends were like, we were junior high school, middle school age. So it wasn't, we still live with our parents, so it's not like real, and none of us had that circumstance. I had a couple of friends who were from like the hood. One of my boys was from Richmond, and a couple of my friends was from West Oakland. So they saw it, but we had parents that took better care of us. But some of my friends had actually been around that, and seen that, and so they would like say Too Short's lyrics and all of that stuff, which was foreign to me, and I really didn't like it. I'm like, this is dark and dreary, and I kind of didn't. It took me a minute to really kind of get it and understand, and even be able to sing along to some of the local rap that was popular in the Bay Area in Oakland, because all the rap that had made me love rap was like LL Cool J and Run DMC and that kind of stuff.
Fun stuff.
And not a lot of.
It was all fun.
This is murder rap now.
Stuff that was really just about hip hop and rap and the culture of rap. Not necessarily about the gritty reality of the world, And I eventually, some of my friends eventually put me up on other stuff that I did like. So it wasn't until after I moved to California that I actually heard Public Enemy and Eric B. and Rakim, and so that kind of stuff started coming out. And I was growing up, and so I started to actually get more accustomed to the local rap too, like Too Short, and believe it or not, at that time, MC Hammer was like, more street, and I loved his music. It was later that he became this big pop kind of icon, but like his early songs were hard. I really liked his stuff at first,
It's crazy to think that though, MC Hammer being hard.
No, I remember.
I remember he had some rap. I remember that. But
I remember seeing someone in an interview, someone from the Bay that was talking about it, and he's like, You don't fuck.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Hammer. Yeah, don't fuck with Hammer.
Don't play.
Yeah.
Hammer don't play.
He is an Oakland dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
He is from East Oakland, but his style of rap at first was more like just straight up rap. He had a song called "Ring 'Em" and a song called I think it was called "Put on the Hammer." I can't remember, but it was one of these are his early songs, and
yeah, it was different than
they weren't just straight up rap songs. And he's never, even though he's from the streets, and he's never been about that. Yeah, see, that's after he became the MC Hammer that the world knows.
Yeah,
you know, but he had another incarnation that was more of an independent, more just you know, just hip hop kind of thing.
Yo, Hieroglyphics now, Pep Love, is over 30 years old. I mean, one of the most iconic collectives of all time, I would say. That design, everyone knows that Hiero logo. I mean, you see the shirts all over.
It's iconic. It's hip hop iconic. Hip hop iconic.
I got one on my chest tonight.
Yeah, hip hop iconic.
Man, who was the first Hiero artist that you crossed paths with, and who was the first guy that you met out of the crew?
A+.
A+. Okay, was this in high school, or how old were you when you crossed paths?
Yeah, I met him when I was 15, but I didn't really get to know him when I first met him. I met him at like I think it was a BDP concert at the Little Theater in Berkeley.
When did this first conversation about hieroglyphics and starting a collective come about? How did that spark?
That wasn't until a couple of years later when I actually got to really, because every other time that I saw him, he was the most adventurous person in the crew. A lot of the guys back then didn't leave East Oakland, but he would. I would see him in Berkeley, and I ran into him a few times, and we always would dap each other up and keep it moving. But I didn't even know his name. I maybe met it. We introduced ourselves to each other, but we were both from different things. He was exploring. He was leaving East Oakland and coming to Berkeley and doing this and having fun or whatever, coming up to Telegraph and kicking and getting a slice of pizza and all that stuff like all the kids that came up there did. But it wasn't until like the 11th grade when I actually got a chance to kick it with him at somebody's house and actually hear him rap. And I was like, oh shit, you actually rap? I rap too. So yeah, and then from there, that's when he told me about Hieroglyphics. He told me about Dell. Dell was Ice Cube's cousin, and that he got an album coming out soon, and like real like stuff, like really being truly involved in the music industry, actually.
Yeah,
intricate. Like my family's a part of this and part of this, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Were you more natural to freestyle before you started writing lyrics, or were you more of a like I'll write lyrics and I'll freestyle later?
I just wrote. I started off just writing raps and memorizing raps and memorizing the raps of artists that I really liked.
That's what they say. They say that's
Run
the best
DMC
way.
was the first artist that I memorized their raps.
That's what the best people do. They say that Hunter S. Thompson would write down like huge books, like rewrite them word for word, and then he became a great writer. So to memorize like that would make you. I mean, of course, make you great.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I should be saying this, but you know what? I'm gonna say it. He probably won't hear it, but I just met MC Breeze for the first time. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Yeah.
But he's like, early 90s. Whatever.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys who started LA Posse.
Yep.
He was one of the people that I memorized his rap. And I was more into rap than like some of my friends. A lot of my friends that I hung out with before I met Hiero were all into sports, basketball and football. And so they had never really heard his songs or heard his album like that. And I was already rapping. I had my own raps or whatever, but I just for shits and giggles, he had this one song, I think it was called Tyson, the Young Son of No One. It was an acronym.
Oh wow.
And I had that rap memorized. So I would spit the rap to a couple of my friends and I'd be like, and they'd be like, what is that? I never heard that before. I don't even think it was my idea to tell them it was my rap at first, but since they never heard it before, I was like, yeah, that's my shit. And they would be like, what? That's incredible. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of course, I didn't keep that gag up long. I was like, nah, that's a song. You guys need to peep MC Breeze.
Yeah.
And then I think I put a lot of my friends up on MC Breeze.
That's dope.
That's awesome. Shout out MC Breeze.
Shout
Hell
out.
yeah, bro. Hey.
Yeah, Breeze is the man.
You were on that early track, Undisputed Champs, with Dell and Q-Tip. Was that the introduction to the world of Pep Love, or
No.
what was it? Souls of Mischief '93 till Infinity that you were.
No.
Okay, what was the first?
It was Casual. Who's it on?
Okay, Casual's a solo album that the first thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, and you go off on that one too.
Yeah. I was still mastering my style and trying to figure out who I was as an MC.
You talked earlier about most of your friends were into sports and shit. Were you playing sports when you were in high school?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we did. We played hoop.
You basketball
and football, but I didn't want to get hit. And another thing, the reason why I didn't play football is because you had to go to practice in the summer.
Yeah,
those summer practices was like hours long. Like I went to just check out the practice one time with one of my friends who plays football, and just he'd been playing Pop Warner and everything since a young kid, and that was like his world, his social world. A lot of his friends did it. That was his thing. And when I saw that they were out there all day,
hell no, not for me.
I was like, oh no, I can't do this.
I got to be chilling. I got people I got to kick it with right now. Not
I mean,
chilling right
all
here.
day during the summer.
Hell no.
You out there from like, I don't know. Did they start in the morning? I can't remember, but I mean, it was like 6 hours of practice. I'm like, oh no.
We in the pool.
Usually,
it wasn't even so much about getting hit. I didn't mind getting hit or the workouts. It was just like being out there my whole day.
Yeah, killing your day.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I found out from other people that play football, they was like, yeah, that's just how it is, especially people who play Pop Warner. And the basketball was more my sport anyway, but I got into it with my like PE coach, and he just had it out for me. He was like, I'm gonna make sure you never get to play basketball.
Damn.
And I was like, all right, well, I guess that kind of, because the basketball coach wanted me on the team, but he went and talked to the coach and said, he's like, he can't be on the team. And so from that point on, I've stopped caring about basketball.
There you go.
Fuck that guy.
Whoever that guy is, you're an asshole.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No, but maybe you did a great thing though.
Maybe it pushed you into music, and we
got
Pep Love.
Push you in the right direction.
I didn't get no torn ACLs and all that shit.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
true. That's true.
Yo, what was the Bay Area hip hop like in the I guess you could say the mid to late '90s, early 2000s? I mean, you guys had Hiero, Living Legends, Anticon, Quantum Projects out there. I mean, it was going off out in the Bay Area. Yeah. What was the vibe like during that time? Did you feel all the competition like around you? And did you?
Yeah, it was definitely competition, but we kind of had like a little bit of a boost because Dell had come out, and then we were still in high school when Souls and Casual got signed and got their deal.
Yeah,
Jive,
it's crazy.
So, I didn't get a deal, but I was part of Hiero, and like, I don't know, like it just didn't. The whole thing where people is trying to vie for a position,
just rub you the wrong way.
It didn't necessarily rub me the wrong way. I'm not necessarily. I never have looked at creativity as competition because like I played hoop in football. Like that's where we compete at. And I had friends that really wanted to win and would get mad if we ever lost and shit. And that always turned me off. I'm like, well, this ain't fun no more,
Yeah.
And so, and don't get me wrong, there's definitely people in rap and in the crew. Hiero's definitely got the competitive edge. And when Souls went out on their first tour, they was battling rappers backstage and all kind of shit. That's not necessarily my my demeanor and my personality to be like that. And like I said, I was still trying to figure out my style and what I wanted to do. Like I have a message that I want to get across that is part of my lineage, but also like I really was in love with the part of hip hop that is a cohesive culture that comes from New York City that has a connection to the Black arts movement. And I wanted to be a part of that world that was imaginary to me in my mind. But like this is a perfect example of just my mind state. I thought that New York City and the Bronx and, but just mainly because of the graffiti and all the color and the breakdance and shit, I thought that this was a fun kind of just this like almost like a utopia almost. Because it was just so, I'm just such an I'm young at that time too, so I'm just so much that I completely glazed over the part that like, no, this is the Bronx, New York. This is the projects. These are bombed out, burnt out buildings. This is some really
pain.
This is a hard life. You know, I didn't even really see that in my mind. So, you know, my perspective in rap is more being part of this idyllic world, you know.
Yeah, like
and now it's so I don't even know if a young person that comes up listening to rap now could even
see that picture,
could even get that picture, because it's so much about like some of the worst stuff that goes on in the world.
No, it was glamorized though too at that time though, like the break scene in New York and like everyone graffiti. It was like, oh wow,
colorful, bright,
super cool. We're tagging on trains. Come check us out. Yeah,
exactly. That was more pushed to the forefront at that time.
Yeah, I see the same thing you were seeing.
It was more comic book type. You know what I mean?
That
feel that type of feel.
Totally.
What do you think has made and helped keep Hieroglyphics as a collective flourishing for so long? And you know, people haven't forgotten about you, and there's still a big fan base, and that's worldwide.
Hiero Day, what's Hiero Day's 20? Is that Hiero Day's over 30 years old or 25 years
old?
No,
Hiero Day's newer. It's somewhat of a newer.
Hiero Day started in 2011.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, it's the thing that got the whole label thing that came and went, but we was like, well, we still, you know, we love this too much to have that dictate whether or not we're still going to do this. And we really helped to blaze a trail that got the whole independent, you know, rap tour circuit that seems to have died off at this point now. But the whole independent rap tour circuit, we was like the first ones. We was like,
we were the model.
Doing this one way or another, you know?
Yeah.
And that is kind of what, you know, even during times of lulls where we haven't put out a lot of music or we haven't been doing a lot, that is what has kept us relevant to the people who love hip hop like that.
You guys definitely set the stage. Hieroglyphics set the stage for many other crews out there, collectives out there, you know.
Yeah, well,
you guys set the bar.
100%.
The independent hustle too, to be at shows and be selling CDs hand to hand and running your merch tables, running your own merch and doing shit like that. That's shit that people weren't doing, were too big to do at some point. That when other people from
like a lot of artists that could have done the same thing, they just had it in their minds like, oh shit, we got dropped from our deal, which happens to one way or another. Artists usually leave their initial record deal. But a lot of them look at it like, well, we don't have a record company to push us and put us out. I guess we done, you know? Yeah. And we didn't look at it like that at all.
Yeah.
What do you remember about recording the first Hieroglyphics album, Third Eye Vision? It dropped in 1998. I'm not sure exactly what years you guys were recording the album, but what do you recall about making that album?
I remember sitting in the back seat of Opio's it was either Opio's or Tajay's. One of these guys had a burgundy Volvo, the old Volvo that used to be built like a tank.
Crazy.
And this was like not very long after it was apparent that the whole record company, Jive Records and all that stuff, even with Dell, the Electra record, it was pretty apparent that had run its course.
Yeah.
And we still like to play beats, smoke weed in the car, and just freestyle, you know. And I forget who was all in the car. It was like me, A+, or me, Opio, and Tajay, or you know, Festus, or A+. Just like the guys that like to do that. They like to sit in the car and freestyle. And we were like, you know what? We should just. It was like a light bulb went off. It was like, we should just go independent. We should take everything that we've accomplished so far, use it as leverage, as
leeway.
You know, leeway. Exactly. Like, people know who we are already.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for us to just do our thing, and we should do a Hiero album where we all come together as one, and make and put out an album that way. And then that'll be our our foot in the door back to glory of
Boom.
you know whatever we can possibly do. And I think we somehow started talking to Domino about it, and he was like, yeah, we can do that. We can actually talk to our engineer who recorded most of the albums that came out on the labels. He was like an honorary member of the crew, and he had connections with people who would do him a favor, and the Souls still had like something that they had left over from the label deal. They had some kind of a fund, but we were able to get in the studio.
That's sick.
I think we started recording at first at a studio in like San Rafael or whatever. And it was basically Matt Kelly basically was like, yeah, I recorded, and we can get it to where y'all got something going, and then from there we can once the resources start to come in, we can worry about paying for it afterwards. And Dom was able to get on the phone and use whatever connections that he had built from being the Souls manager and from being Casual's manager, from being from managing various he somehow was able to book the first tour. Damn. And that was before the album even came out.
Perfect.
We was doing that off the strength of like what people knew of
who we are,
us already.
That's dope.
That's
super sick.
And then we used the money that we weren't even we was just broke kids, but we were getting paid for those shows.
There you
go. We were just putting that money back into the pot to put out the album.
That's so dope.
Promote the album, and we were able to get a distribution situation and a manufacturing situation once everything was ready to go. And we had by that time we had done like multiple tours. We basically had created a whole tour circuit for ourselves and had been all over the country and Canada and everything. And so people were ready.
You created a fan base before you sent out the product, which was
you're touching everybody.
Genius.
Yeah, you're touching people's hearts, man. I'll be places and I look over and people have a Hiero shirt on. I'd be like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? He's one of these family.
You see the Hiero life of its own, basically.
Yeah,
now people
you feel like your
Hiero
family.
shirts don't even know who the hell I am.
Yeah, I see that too.
That's stupid.
You see them on cars and shit. Yeah,
you see that too.
Yeah, we're in Northern California, so like we see that a lot out here.
Yeah.
We see the stickers on the cars.
Yeah, I was in Oakland. And there was a dude, he was wearing like one of our new merchandise items, like a jacket or a hoodie or something. And this one particularly doesn't even have a Hiero logo on it. It just says Hiero Crew on it.
Yeah.
And I guess dude was on his way out the door, and Tahaj was like, "Oh, I like that Hiero hoodie you got on." And me and him neither didn't even really notice that the fact that the dude was wearing a Hiero hoodie, and I don't think he even glanced or acknowledged me once. And the Hiero, it's not like that shirt where it's just this logo. Some people don't even necessarily know what that logo means.
Yeah.
But this dude was wearing a hoodie that said Hiero Crew on it without the logo.
I've seen that one.
And he still didn't know who I was.
That's funny.
Saying, who came up with the logo? Where did the logo come from? Was it some
artist dude? Like he draws his own kid. That first logo of him where it's like his face with with him wearing headphones.
Yeah, that's iconic too.
That's he drew that.
That's cool that he's got that kind of gift to like being an artist like that. That's hard to draw, man, like that.
I mean, I feel like it's the Hiero logo and the Wu-Tang logo. Those are the two that are just the most iconic, like
the ones that you can see. I mean, especially the Hiero one, like you were saying, it blends into society. Like,
for sure,
you don't know what people are just
don't
like
necessarily know what it is pointing to.
Yeah. Yo, going back to Third Eye Vision, whose idea was it to give each of you your own track? Kind of like a Pep Love track, a Dell track. There was an Opio track, a Casual track.
That might have been. I'm not quite sure, but that might have been Domino's idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how that's set up. It kind of sets the stage,
I feel like other people had done it too since then.
That was the point
of
the whole Hiero album, is to give everybody, like, it wasn't the point of doing a Hiero album wasn't to make Hiero and to be like a super group. It was to
let everybody shine,
to let everybody know who each one of us were.
Yeah.
Were you with that right away when he hit that to you? He was like, "Hey, bro, you're gonna get your own song." I'd be like, "Oh, fuck yeah, let's do this." Or were you like, you sure? You can get on this.
That's what I'm a solo artist. That's what
That's tight. That's awesome.
I'm a solo artist.
And then,
I've always been a solo artist.
And then how did After Dark come about? Because that's one of the best tracks off the album, and that's all you, right? That's all just only Pep Love. So how did that come? Was that the idea from the start?
That was a song that we had done that me and Dom had worked. Dom produced that song. That's a song that we had done before we started working on the Hiero album. So we did that as a demo on like a 4-track.
Okay.
And that ended up being a song that we re-recorded as a real song in the big studio once we started working on the Hiero album.
Yeah. Bro, that song is fucking awesome too. Are you guys conscious of the numbers, like when you come out the first album to the second to the third? I think there was 5 years and then 10 years from to the second one. Your first one came out in 98.
Yeah, the gap in time.
Yeah, the gap in time.
Not really, because like I said, that wasn't the point. Wasn't to keep dropping Hiero albums, but it took on a life of its own. People wanted more of it, and we started to create an identity as Hiero. More so than multiple groups that are part of a crew and a collective. Hiero as itself started to have its own identity. Yeah.
Hey, when you're out,
so we created more albums.
When you're out and about and you're kicking it and you're just chilling, do people know you? They walk up to you like, "Hey, what's good? Let me get a picture." Or that's like, they don't have
that happens. That definitely happened more when I was living in the Bay than it does in LA. But
yeah. But when it does happen, it's probably like, that's dope, bro. You got big respect. I mean, I would. I mean, if I seen you, I'd be like, "Oh, that's tight. Let me get a pic with you." You'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happens when I go to like underground hip hop events where that's the people that are there for that vibe.
Yeah.
I got to meet.
It's been a long time. I don't got dreads no more. I'm a full ass grown man now.
I got to meet A Plus it was randomly at a MMA event. It was like a Bellator event in San Jose, and he just sporting.
He's into that shit.
And he just sporting that iconic bucket hat, and then he just stands out and like, oh, that's A Plus, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, he's local. He's out there. He's kind of a South Bay dude now.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what have you been into lately? What are you listening to lately? Just, in the car, or just in the pad right now. If you're not fucking with your own stuff, like who
now, time is different now that I'm a little bit older. So so this has been like 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, but right now I can't say anybody in particular, but like in this last, few years, there's been a few people that I like really listen to, and I just was on Instagram and I kind of got reminded of an artist that I really was like listening to daily for a while, and it is Cavalier, and he's just dope. I love his whole vibe and what he's about. He's from Brooklyn, New York, I think, but he kind of like adopted New Orleans, I think, kind of as his home. But go check out Cavalier. Cavalier is one of those rappers that is kind of connected to what's dude's name? The dude, he's from LA. He was like he's kind of like an R&B producer, but he produced like a lot of tracks for Cav. It's Iman Omari. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is like real eclectic kind of.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna check out Cavalier tonight. We're gonna definitely.
You got a track you want us to check from that? We should probably personally check out a track that you're like, oh, this was the one I think you guys would like.
And I mean, I can't remember the names of his tracks.
It's all good.
But and also Quelle Chris and his whole vibe. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Yeah, he's dope for sure. Yeah, he's dope. Yeah. He's on a whole nother different type of level.
He's eccentric.
Yeah, he's very eccentric for sure.
Eccentric. He's on some other shit.
Which is what we like.
But I mean, I really do love and respect J. Cole, because he's a big artist, but he is a straight up lyrical beast.
Yeah.
He never did just say, I'm gonna dumb it down and try to make whatever the masses want. He just kept doing him.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's like real big into like beat riding. He's more into lyric pounding. You know what I mean? Writing them good lyrics get to you instead of.
And I love Logic too.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't like what's the white boy's name from
Mac Miller?
From Mac Miller. I did not like Mac Miller.
I love Mac Miller. I love him now. After he passed away, I got to digging, and you find out he's super dope.
So dope. He's super dope. I can't lie.
I feel you.
I got it. Like
I got it late. Me too.
Wow.
Me
I got
too.
it late.
I got it late.
It was before he passed away.
Yeah.
What it was is I went to a show because to me that's the ultimate in this shit. Seeing somebody rock live, it'll give me a whole different impression.
Yeah.
I saw him rock live.
Like.
He was headlining the show, and this was like maybe a few months after Chance the Rapper first came out. And Chance was like, his show was unpolished. He wasn't like ready yet on stage. So, you know, it was like 2 tiers. I missed, and this was in the city. I missed Vince Staples. He had opened up the show, and I had never heard of him yet. Then I saw Chance the Rapper, who we had been the people who I was hanging out with. We had just been like listening to Chance's album, that acid rap album, which was dope. But then when he got up on stage, he was just so
he wasn't ready for that.
Amateur.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready. He's just wasn't ready yet. And then so he got off stage and they did like an intermission. And then what is it called? He is the one that kind of sounds like Ghostface Killer from
Action Bronson. Yeah.
Action Bronson. So Action Bronson came on and the show like stepped up another tour. His voice is just powerful.
Yeah.
And so he came on. Once his voice started thundering through the speakers, I'm like, okay, now the show begins.
Yeah.
So he killed it, but he didn't have this intricate show. He just killed it off his raw, just being a dope rapper.
Yeah.
He's a showman.
Yes.
And then Mac Miller came on, and he has like this completely orchestrated, theater orchestrated show. And he was playing every instrument. There was a time when he started playing the drums. There's a time when he started playing the guitar. Yep. There's a time when he started playing the keys.
Crazy.
They had this crazy lighting setup with these big LED lamps behind him. Oh, and his hype man would be on stage for certain songs, the hype songs.
Sick.
And then on other songs, the hype man would disappear. And you didn't even see him walk off the stage. It was just like the lights went down
like
and then another song came on, and then
it was Copperfield.
David
Blaine Copperfield
this
shit.
Thing like old school Polaroid cameras where the lights would flash. And he had his hype man was this tall, skinny, kind of string bean looking dude. And dude would be like jumping. And at certain points when the lights flashed, it looked like he just froze in the air and was just there. The way they did that shit with the visuals and the musicianship. You know, a lot of rappers have had bands. Yeah. But his band was behind a wall. You couldn't even see them. So certain songs there would be live instrumentation, and other songs it would be right back to just playing the instrumentals. It wasn't like how they do, like, yo, this artist is gonna come and do a set with a band. It wasn't like that. The band was just weaved into the show.
Sick.
And it was still just hip hop.
It's a whole production.
Did he do
some elements in it was live band shit?
Did he do that suplex shit that he does with Bronson? Did they do those tracks together they have, or no? It was just
they didn't do anything together.
For sure.
It sounded like an amazing show.
Yeah,
we say it all the time on the
It was at the what's the name of that club that's in San Francisco on Broadway?
The Fillmore?
No, that's on Fillmore.
No, that's not Broadway.
That's on Fillmore, homeboy.
Sorry, what is it?
Get a Sig. Sig's got it right here.
Monroe?
No.
Okay.
But it was in Frisco, huh?
The Rouge.
It's like
club?
it's in the Tenderloin district. Basically, it's right there on the. It's a well-known venue. It's like venue. A nice.
It's in
theater.
the Tenderloin. Okay.
It's called the.
How come I don't know?
We know the area for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised because
as soon as I
bottom
say
of the hill.
like,
No.
oh yeah, that spot.
No, not bottom of the hill.
It's like right next to.
Someone's yelling.
The Crazy Horse strip. You know that club called the Crazy Horse?
Yeah.
Crazy. It's like right next to the strip club.
Someone's yelling somewhere.
Yeah, someone knows.
Someone's yelling in the comments somewhere. What the fuck you doing?
Great American Music Hall?
Nah, that's not it. Yeah, Great American Music Hall is not on Broadway.
Okay.
Right. I mean, not Broadway. Market. Not Broadway. Broadway is the strip club.
We're running left. We should be going right. We're running left now.
We say it all the time though with the Mac Miller thing. We're a little bit older, and
the Warfield. Damn it. Well, that's on Market. That's on Market.
Wait. Yeah. No, you're right.
That's
you're right.
All
right, we get points.
It has the big ass red curtains
back.
And shit. The big ass red
curtains.
Yeah.
The Warfield.
Tell them how we feel. We feel the same.
It totally is the Warfield.
We figured it out. Hey, that's a dope venue. Hey, as we start winding down, Pep, I want to talk a little bit more about Living Legends. I mean, they have a number of tracks with you featured on them. How did that connection come about, and who did you meet first? Was it Mystic Journeyman that you were introduced to first, or how'd that connection come about? And how did it?
I've been knowing Sunspot since before I was even part of Hiero. There was a such thing as a Living Legends. You know, I met him through I think J Biz, my old DJ.
That's tight.
But you know, that connection of doing songs with them didn't really have much to do with him as just like vibe, same energy. We was running around, you know, in the streets as rappers in the same way, and
I feel like they
like to just do songs. They were like early home studio recording dudes. And I wanted to record more music. I didn't want to wait till we had a studio session booked somewhere.
Yeah.
And hanging out with them gave me an opportunity to kind of get more into like, oh, we just do songs.
Yeah.
Even we chilling at the crib. They had like a big warehouse apartment where like a lot of them all lived together, and they were always working on music.
That has to be
what they call that, the outhouse or some shit.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of spots.
That has to be.
They have multiple spots like that.
Yeah, huge game changer, and not be able to be like, well, we got to go fucking get together and book a time, and we can just do it right here.
It wasn't like that.
Come over and come smoke. We get it done. Like that's got to be fucking 10 times ahead of time.
Yeah, that definitely had a lot to do with the fact that I ended up doing like multiple songs with them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like you're the most featured Hiero member on the Living's tracks out of anybody from the crew. I think it's you. So
100%.
Yeah, and I can see why. You know, the fucking delivery, the lyrics, everything, man. Well-rounded. Approach.
It's definitely some kind of synergy there that is just that's just natural.
Yo, you've dropped.
I was just talking. I've been talking on the phone with Lucky I Am like the last few days.
Oh, there you go.
That's dope. I caught them for the return tour in Sacramento, but it was fucking awesome just to see them back together. Because it's been a long time.
Okay, let me ask you this, Doug. Why got you here? Aliens or no aliens? Are they coming or are they not? Are they here already? What's your take?
I mean, to somebody on a distant planet, we're aliens.
Yes, exactly.
True.
Exactly what Sunspot said.
But I didn't ask you that, though.
That's exactly what Sunspot.
That's exactly what he said. Yeah.
Really advanced. You got to be from an advanced culture to be willing to go to another planet and live amongst them, especially if they're less advanced than you. I don't think they're here. Why would they want to be here? If they are advanced enough to where they can come here, why would they want to deal with all of this shit that we're dealing with?
Maybe they're smart enough to be billionaires. Maybe they're smart enough to weave through all that, be slick.
Or maybe they've just been here the whole time.
Yeah, and it was just their plan.
Yo, what were
They would just have to dumb it down a lot to just live amongst us.
True.
That is true.
Why do that if they got technology enough to where they can get here? They probably got technology enough to where they can monitor what we're doing from
built for.
Jesus,
just real quick,
just energy.
Well, this is why
energy.
I mean,
get it together.
You guys incorporate pyramids and
they're conductive or receptive before they're worn down, but there used to be supposedly the tip of the pyramid was a small exact in a smaller some kind of a communication or measurement. I mean, they say that the Great Pyramid of Giza is geometrically right in the very center of the planet.
Of northeast, southwest of, they say it's
everything.
perfect.
Yeah,
It's
right
perfect.
in the
Yeah, it was
center.
crazy how they made it exactly in that spot.
Yeah. Dang, that's a couple hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, I got him. We got him with you on the way out. I mean, let's just take it off.
Had to get your take.
One more.
Had to get a take.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you one time. One of my favorite compilation albums was "We Came From Beyond," and you had one of the best tracks on that album with the Relief track.
Oh yeah, that's that Mike Nardone project, right?
Yeah. How did that come about? I mean, because that album had a collection of so many different artists from not just they're from all around the world,
like Slug and you and fucking
had a lot of different.
We all over the years
have
visited and gone to Mike's show when he was doing his show at Loyola Marymount. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know how to do that one.
But yeah, he was an underground hip hop staple when he was doing his show with him, and he's just he's been a supporter and a homie since back in the day. And that was a song that didn't make my album, so that we put it on that album.
That was a throwaway.
That's a hitter.
That's a hitter.
That's a super hitter.
That is.
Yeah.
Hey, to this day,
to go back and
Yeah,
that beat's hard.
You
hey,
play that at your
beat,
next
that
show.
whole deal, that whole energy is super sick. That whole album is dope. I mean,
and that's funny because you guys played that. I was like, I heard that just recently. You guys have that as the background music for one of the flyers, right?
Yeah.
And ready to come out this album's coming out on vinyl and cassette.
we're gonna need a we're gonna need a vinyl.
We're gonna get a vinyl.
We're gonna get
for
the
sure.
vinyl.
We'll
We're
buy
gonna
that.
put it up.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna
for
buy
sure.
it.
We're gonna
We're
stay in touch, and
Yes.
we'll trade contacts. I'll hit you
Yes,
up
sir.
on
Yo, where do you want the
on
listeners
the-
to go to purchase your music and merchandise, things like that? Is it your Bandcamp that you prefer?
my Bandcamp. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
my Bandcamp page, and I have my website. Pep Love. I want people to go to the music outlets. This album is coming out on vinyl and cassette, and as things, to walk into any record store in Brighton, UK or whatever, like I want everything.
If they're there, you want it there because they're hard to find nowadays. A record store.
Abandoning streaming is just, I look at my music kind of like a movie, so it's like, okay, maybe, at the right appropriate time, you can go to Spotify or Apple Music and stream my new album, but for a limited time only. It comes into the theater and it leaves the theater.
Smart.
Good move.
Smart. You've got to, at this day and age, you have to create new business models to keep the ball to keep the ball rolling uphill because it's such a battle to make money in the industry with streaming platforms and that type of thing.
Yeah, they're only
And it's about having a unique brand. I honestly feel like everything is going to go that direction. Streaming is cool. It has its place, but I don't think, that this whole thing where streaming is the only thing, that's only meant to lace people's pockets who don't even make music,
Sure. Yeah.
True.
And, it came in right at the time where it was starting to get more and more like, well, the artist makes music, but how are these labels going to figure out how to own everything and be, the complete overlords over the music industry, and streaming is a way that they figured out how to do it again.
Yeah, everything's getting weird now. They got the AI music coming out and all that, man.
They're just trying to find ways to
change.
take money out of people's
all
pockets.
Part of a plot for them to own everything.
Yeah.
That's why, even though I don't agree with, but also I neither really care or listen to or put my ear a lot to what Kanye West is saying. But Kanye West is like, I am doing what I want to do the way I want to do it and saying what I want to say, when, how, whatever the fuck I want to say.
Yeah.
Say it. I mean, they took his album down and I know this was all just a ploy. It wasn't real, but
yeah,
still the message got out there. Because the album came right back up on streaming like maybe the next day.
Yeah.
But he was like, okay, great. Take my album down then. He was like, cool. What streaming is doing ain't cool anyway.
people are still buying it.
Yeah.
What they're doing
He's
now
still
too,
number one, you know what I'm saying? And he made a good point. He was like, okay, great. Take my album down then. Just go to my website and get my album. Come to me. Get direct to fan sales.
Who's really getting hurt in this situation at the end of the day? He ain't the one getting hurt.
Yeah, never him. He's making the product. It's everyone in between, the middleman, that's getting hurt. So
he's just being himself, which is kind of off the wall dude, but he's also making a statement for artists in general. Put yourself at the forefront of your artistry.
Yes,
it's not about who you are attached to business wise.
Yeah,
shit. And that's what that's what Hieroglyphics and Pep Love have been doing for the past 25 years. That's what you guys stood on.
We already put it down. We do it that way.
Yeah, nothing new.
That's what you've been doing.
It's just it evolves into different ways. The world around us is changing, but the artist always has an opportunity to make a statement, a social statement, and even a business entrepreneurial statement.
Yeah, I could
so true. Well,
see that.
Yeah, we're excited to see what you have coming out, all the new music that you have coming, and we're gonna stay glued in and
we still listen to all the old shit all the time.
Fuck yeah,
and
of
we
course.
Can't, I mean, come on, we're here with you.
Yeah, we're
man, I appreciate it.
Huge fans of the work, and we'll definitely be in touch and look forward to. Hopefully, we can talk to you again when you got some new shit coming out again.
You're a good dude, man. Thanks for the conversation.
We'll have another meeting and talk once the album is out and things and the ball is rolling.
Hell yeah! Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. Give it up for the legend. We don't, that word gets tossed around a lot.
Toss it.
Right I was just saying that to somebody. I'm like, damn, that word legend just gets used so much.
Give him his flowers.
But I'll tell you right now, this is fucking like for what you guys have done and to be an independent hip hop artist like we talked about, and hand to hand sales and do that type of thing that can never be erased. So legendary status for this man right here.
Hell yeah.
Pep Love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys, and keep
Fuck
rocking
yeah,
on.
man.
This is a great setup that you guys have. And,
Thank you.
Talking about music and talking about hip hop, and helping to celebrate things, celebrate artists like myself that maybe some people ain't even heard about me. Even some people who listen to Hiero maybe don't even they haven't really their gaze hasn't been fixed on me. And this is a great thing that you guys appreciate me and what my contribution has been enough to have me here. So
Hell yeah.
Well,
that doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you. That means a lot to us, especially because we're such huge fans and been fans where music, and it has helped shaped our whole from
Our whole
being
sight on
teenagers.
music,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So it means a lot to us to be able to talk to you guys and hopefully
Just
help you reach new people. You know what I
Fuck
mean?
yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
fuck yeah. Thank
Word,
you.
no doubt, no
Thank
doubt.
you.
Thank you again,
Well,
Pep Love.
I'll try to catch y'all's next show. too.
Hell yeah.
We
Yeah.
appreciate you. Everyone give it up for the one, the only Pep Love.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
brother.
guys.
Have a great night.
Appreciate it.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, have a good one.
You too.
Peace.